So we were talking about that holistic view of those three pillars. How would you continue with your advice and your wisdom, Dr. Shahnoz, in terms of like our everyday things? What should we be thinking about also if, we're all thinking, oh my gosh, we don't want to get to menopause, right? I had surgical menopause, I had no other choice. But for those women who are at that stage where they know that relatively soon they're going to get to menopause, and therefore there is a decline of, as we know, progesterone, estrogen, testosterone, what are the things that you recommend for these women to delay as much as possible that process so that we can maintain those hormone levels as best as we can?
So hormones, first of all, hormones, we should understand how important hormones are.
Right.
Hormones are our messenger systems. Hormones are keepers of life. That's what hormones are. And I'm not talking about just estrogen, progesterone. I'm talking about all the hormones that our body produces. And our estrogen and progesterone, testosterone also depends on the hormones that we produce in our brain, we produce in our thyroid, we produce in our adrenals. It's a beautiful orchestra between those and dance between those hormonal systems that we have, endocrine systems that we have in our body. So what important is with understanding the hormones and how to not delay, but at least to support. Because when you say menopause, except of course surgical, in case if everything is removed, but in the physiological states, even if you stop having your period, doesn't mean you stop producing your hormones. You still have specific tissues in your ovaries that still there producing those hormones. They are. It's just not enough for you to cycle. And the amount of estrogen start going lower and lower and lower and lower. And then by a certain age, you start producing almost none. So the idea is to delay and prolong that period after the menopause. Like when you just hit menopause or you're just starting your perimenopause or whatever, to prolong this period and allow your body to produce as much as possible and activate those centers, those pathways in your body, biochemical pathways that will continue production of estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone, and other hormones as well. Now, when we say perimenopause, automatically people think it's probably going to be around 45, 47, so forth. No, perimenopause, believe it or not, starts in your 30s. That's how early it starts.
Important message here, very important message, because that's when we need to be conscious of it. And prevention is the new medicine, as you and I always mention, right? Prevention is the new medicine. And this is one of the reasons why we're doing this encounter together, and also why we're going to be doing a special and exciting panel in New York City, so that we transmit that message of what can you do to prevent already when you're in your 30s. So this is great.
Yes. So why in our 30s? Because it's just the physiology. You and I and other girls, we were born with a certain amount of eggs.
Right.
Okay? Come to this world with a certain amount of eggs. And then we start menstruating. When you start menstruating, not necessarily you start ovulating immediately. You start probably ovulating in a couple of years into your menstrual life. So let's say you start menstruating age of 14, 15. Ovulating.
Ovulating, yeah.
14, 15. If you started menstruating at age of 11, 12 or so. Then every time when you ovulate, the eggs that you brought to this life, you ovulate. That egg is gone. You don't make any eggs, right? So as you're going, imagine from age of 15 until age of 30, 35, this is when majority of our ovarian reserve is getting depleted. And the reason is also survival. It's rooted in a deep survival mechanism back in the days when we used to live in the caves, and when we used to, like even after caves period, during winter times, we would preserve and not to get pregnant. And then as we get older, we knew that the body would not survive. Body had to overcome more. So you had to preserve your vitality and not to ovulate anymore. You see, it's all about conserving energy. It's a survival mechanism.
Right.
It's a just physiology. So then at the age of 31, 32, for some people, it depends how much of hormones you brought in your basket, in your ovaries from your eggs. Some people brought this much, some people brought a lot. So from the age of 32, 34, 35, this is when we start seeing changes. So between 30, like if you're a young girl, between age of 14 to 20, you probably ovulate 80% of the time. You don't even ovulate every month. That's also physiology. Okay. Then from 30 to 35, it's a gray zone when your ovulation rate from 80 drops down to 60, maybe 70, maybe 50. Depends on your ovarian reserve, what you brought to this world. And then after 35, it dramatically starts to go down. You see, again, your body is conserving your eggs, and at the same time, it's conserving your hormonal energy, hormonal potential, because it knows that even after you're done with the childbearing, you need to continue that function. You
That's
see?
right.
So that's why we say perimenopause starts in the 30s. After 35, like for some people, late 30s, for some people, even early 30s. Again, it depends on your lifestyle, depends on your genetics. There's so many other factors also play a role. But in general, the root, the physiology is laying into what is there is to preserve your function, hormonal function, the longer. Try
Right.
to keep it.
Absolutely.
Understanding this, now you know that your body is going through changes. You need to support that. And we're not saying you have to be on hormone replacement therapy. Absolutely not. Because once you start using hormones, exogenous hormones, we call them, meaning that hormones that come from outside, your body shuts down and stop producing your own hormones. We're talking about natural things, natural activators that you take that will activate your body's pathways to build your own natural hormones, to stimulate your own natural hormones so you would last longer. It's almost like when you have a car, one thing when you don't go and don't inspect your car, don't change the oil, don't maintain it, and just keep running it in the same distance, your car probably will break faster than someone else's car who regularly checks the oil, maintains the engine, and takes care of it. That car will last longer and look longer. I mean, look younger. So
Right.
same thing is our body. So you have to start young. You have to start young. And these PMSs that we get, it's also a sign of hormonal imbalance. And it doesn't mean that you absolutely have to go on birth control pills. Birth control pill is quick fix. I'm OBGYN. I prescribe birth control pills. I'm not against them. It's just not the first choice.
Right. Right. Exactly.